right, good afternoon, everybody. This is the Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024 afternoon session of the Portland City Council. Keelan, good afternoon. Please call the roll.
Good afternoon. Ryan.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Knaps.
Here.
Rubio. Here. Wheeler.
Here. We're going to hear now from legal counsel on the rules of order and decorum. Good afternoon.
Welcome to the Portland City Council. To testify before council in person or virtually, you must sign up in advance on the council agenda at www.portland.gov/council/agenda. Information on engaging with City Council can be found on the council clerk's webpage. The presiding officer preserves order and decorum during City Council meetings. The presiding officer determines the length of testimony. Individuals generally have 3 minutes to testify unless otherwise stated. The timer will indicate when your time is done. Disruptive conduct, such as shouting, refusing to conclude your testimony when your time is up, or interrupting others or council deliberations will not be allowed. If you cause a disruption, a warning will be given. Further disruption will result in ejection from the meeting. Anyone who fails to leave once ejected is subject to arrest for trespass. Additionally, council may take a short recess and reconvene virtually. Your testimony today should address the matter being considered. When testifying, state your name for the record. Your address is not necessary. Disclose if you are a lobbyist. If you are representing an organization, please identify it. For testifiers joining virtually, please unmute yourself once the council clerk calls your name. Thank you.
All right, thank you. First item up is item number 420, a report.
Accept Regional Cultural Plan, Our Creative Future.
Colleagues, today as we accept this report, my expectation is that the Portland Action Plan represents a comprehensive and actionable plan with clear priorities as well as clear funding requirements. Our creative future prioritizes the creative economy, emphasizing cultural education, supporting creative industries, and preparing the workforce for future economic shifts driven by AI as well as technological advances generally. To achieve this vision, it's vital for the new Arts Office to partner with Prosper Portland in aligning our economic strategies and ensuring that our educational system supports the development of future creative leaders, including those who we were having the pleasure of listening to just a few moments ago. The arts are economic development. And by activating major arts organizations and venues, we not only enrich our cultural landscape, but we also stimulate economic growth and job creation and investments in our community. I look forward to hearing today's report, and I'll now turn it over to Commissioner Ryan, the sponsor of this report, to guide us through the presentation. Commissioner Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. Everything you said was great. Before we dive into the program, we have a couple technical amendments that we get to do, so just stay tuned. Colleagues, the report and the executive summary that were initially submitted contained clerical errors, which have since been corrected in an amended version. Portland City Code requires an official substitution of the report and executive summary on the record. Therefore, I would like to propose a motion for this council to substitute the amended report and executive summary of the Tri-County Cultural Plan, Our Creative Future, that was published on the city's website and made available to all of our offices and public prior to this meeting. So there's my motion.
So moved.
Commissioner Ryan moves, Commissioner Gonzalez seconds. This is a technical substitution, so I think we'll go ahead and take the vote unless anybody has any objections. Please call the roll on the substitute.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Knox.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Aye. The substitute is on the table.
There's supposed to be a second one. I only have one. Oh, we combined them? That was good. All right, things change in 30 minutes. I am so thrilled that we get to start this off today with some music. Jason Margolis is back there. Hi, Jason. You are one of our not poet laureates, you're our arts laureate. And actually, could you come up here for just a second and say a little something? Or do you have a mic back there?
I have a mic back.
Good.
I can say a little something.
All right, everyone see Jason? That's the Roosevelt award-winning band instructor, Jason Margolis.
I'm really proud to bring the students here with me today. This is a good symbol of the work that we do at Roosevelt. This is our advanced level jazz band. We just had a tremendous year going to a lot of different jazz festivals. Placed first, second, and almost everything they went to. And so we're proud of the way they play the music, most importantly. And we're going to do one song for you as a feature today. This is Rocks in My Bed by Duke Ellington featuring Lon on the vocals. And Sean a bit on the alto sax. You want to hold the mic?
Yeah. Thank you, Roosevelt Jazz Band. That was outstanding. And it's moments like these where we see our young people shine and remind us of the incredible talents that can be nurtured by our community through vital investments like the Arts and Education and Access Fund. Let's please have another round of applause for future workforce students. Feel free to grab some food as you depart. Yeah, otherwise we'll hold it. So please take it. Now I'd like to introduce Deputy City Administrator of Vibrant Community Service Area, Sonia Szymanski, Grants Program Manager of the Office of Arts and Culture, Jeff Hawthorne, and partner to the Cultural Planning Group, David Putner Sanders. All of you, welcome to the dais. Sonia and the team will now present our future. Sonia, let's take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon, Council. Thank you to everybody for being here today. I'm Sonia Szymanski, Deputy City Administrator for the Vibrant Community Service Area. Delighted to share this milestone with you. In 2018, a date I triple checked because it feels much longer ago than that, I was Chief of Staff to late Commissioner Nick Fish, and we were thinking big about arts and culture in Portland, including about our best role as government. We took two important steps that year. First, we developed and brought to Council a plan for preserving and expanding affordable art space in Portland, which recommendations still apply. And second, together with Mayor Wheeler, we asked our independent city auditor to review the city's overall approach to supporting arts and culture in Portland and give us a roadmap for improvement. The audit team's roadmap had three recommendations. Clarify and update our contract with the Arts Council, now known as the Regional Arts and Culture Council, or RAC. Appoint a contract administrator to provide oversight of that contract, and establish clear city goals for arts and culture. That audit was issued on May 22nd, 2018, which means it's our 6th anniversary today. And we get to see what exactly 6 years of consistent prioritization has produced. We took a hard look at our contract with RAC and decided that dissolution of the sole source arrangement and a new competitive RFP for art services was appropriate. Next month, you'll see a final procurement report detailing new administration and performance monitoring with our 3 competitively solicited partners. We created a position to oversee our contract with RAC in 2018, and last June, this council established the new Office of Arts and Culture, which will manage the city's annual investment of more than $15 million in direct artist and arts organization support, arts education, and management of our internationally known public art collection. And today, we bring you this regional vision, which is the next step toward clear, specific city goals. At the time of that audit, Mayor, you said we had an opportunity to create a collective vision for the arts, not just in Portland, but throughout the region. Today, we bring you that collective regional vision and a path forward for Portland. This is in government time, very long arc of consistent progress, marking 6 years of focused effort to bring more rigor, intention, and clarity to our work, and we are ready and excited to continue. Thank you all for your steady leadership of this work, and especially to Commissioner Ryan for leading through complex and critical decision points over the last 18 months. Thank you, Mayor Wheeler, for your partnership with Commissioner Fish and your comments earlier, which reflects your understanding of the economic and social importance of our arts and culture system. There is a reason that the city led this regional process. And speaking of, I am delighted now to hand things over to Jeff Hawthorne, who so carefully and capably orchestrated this 2-year process.
Thank you, Sonia. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. My name is Jeff Hawthorne, and I've had the honor of helping develop the City Arts program over the last 3.5 years and bringing this cultural plan to all of you as we prepare to transform our entire system of government and to create a robust Office of Arts and Culture in the City of Portland. What a privilege to have this time with you today to talk about the future of culture, creativity, and the arts in Portland. I'm joined by David Pletner-Saunders, who was our lead consultant for this project, and he'll be sharing with you how we approached this task. But first, just a few words about why this work is so important. I know and I've seen that each of you understands that creative expression is vital to what makes our region so great. Mayor Wheeler said just last week that arts and culture are what makes Portland a dynamic, interesting, and fun place to live, work, and visit. The arts bring us together as a community, give us new perspectives on our shared humanity, and when we feel broken, the arts help us heal. From the murals that rose up during the social justice movement to the poetry and essays that helped document our joy and trauma over the last several years, we all turned to art as an expression of beauty, connection, pain, and protest. As our community navigated loneliness and isolation throughout the pandemic, a myriad of festivals and performances in our outdoor spaces brought us together safely. Now, we look to our cultural events, our live music venues, and creative industries to revitalize our post-pandemic economy. Indeed, arts and culture are fundamental to our economy and our reputation as a center of creativity and innovation. Portland is art, and our artists, nonprofits, and creative industries need the support of our local government now more than ever. It is with that in mind that we are so grateful to be sharing this cultural plan with all of you today. So what is a cultural plan? A cultural plan is a municipal planning process that generates a vision and an action plan for strengthening and growing arts and culture assets within a community. As Sonia mentioned earlier, the city auditor noted 6 years ago today that the city did not have clear goals for arts and culture, and she recommended that we launch a cultural planning process to assess the state of arts and culture, identify needs, and to develop clear goals with visions and strategies for City Council to adopt. Now, in fact, cultural planning is something that we have a practice of doing here in the city of Portland every 15 years or so. Our first cultural plan in 1992 was called Arts Plan 2000, followed by Act for Art in 2009, and here we are 15 years later, bringing you our creative future. These plans can really be consequential for our community. That first plan, back in 1992, moved us from a city bureau called the Metropolitan Arts Commission into a regional partnership with Clackamas, Multnomah, and Washington counties and Metro, and established the Regional Arts and Culture Council as our shared service provider back in 1995. The other big idea 30 years ago was that we needed regional dedicated funding of $15 million a year to adequately support artists and arts organizations across the region. Then in 2009, Act for Art pointed out that that $15 million goal had remained elusive and renewed a call for dedicated funding. That plan also stated a goal of investing in nonprofit arts organizations at a rate of 5% of their operating budgets, and identified an urgent need to stabilize arts education in our schools because so many art and music teachers were being cut during the recession at that time. All of these observations in the plan ultimately led to the City of Portland referring the Arts Education and Access Fund to the ballot in 2012, which, as you all know, was approved by 62% of Portland voters. And although it was not a regional solution, the arts tax still generates over $10 million a year, including $7 million to pay for art and music teachers in every K-5 school across Portland's 6 school districts. This infusion has been a game changer for funding arts education, and even though it brings the city's total annual arts and culture investment to over $16 million a year, it's still not providing as much for nonprofit arts organizations and individual artists as Arts Plan 2000 first recommended. So here we are 15 years later, and this is our third cultural plan, Our Creative Future. We have assessed the state of arts and culture, and we bring you new goals and strategies to address the fact that there is still so much work to do. We started this process in 2021, setting aside $250,000 from existing resources in the City Arts program and raised matching funds from our regional partners, including Clackamas County, Multnomah County, and Metro, which each contributed $25,000 to the project. The cities of Beaverton and Hillsborough, plus Tualatin Valley Creates and the Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District, helped fund Washington County's participation, and we received support from Travel Portland as well. Rounding out this public-private partnership, the James F. and Marion L. Miller Foundation awarded us a very generous grant of $100,000. So to all of our funding partners, we thank you so much. And with these partnerships in place, we developed an RFQ and RFP process that eventually led to the selection of the Cultural Planning Group as our lead consulting firm. And with that, I would like to turn it over to David Pletner-Saunders, partner with the Cultural Planning Group, to walk you through their methodology and our findings. David.
Thank you, Jeff. And I think he just introduced me for the record. It's really wonderful to finally be able to present to you today after, a year and a half of work. And we actually entered after an initial year of pre-planning. So as Sonia and Jeff have said, this has been a long process, and it makes it all the more meaningful to be able to be here with you today. So like Jeff said, the plan was created from a charge from the city, and it has some unusual characteristics. While most cultural plans are for a single city, this plan follows your practice of regional planning. This means that Our Creative Future has a unique structure. It's a framework on which the 7 local jurisdictions and other communities in the region can base their own action plans. We appreciate their interest and engagement in the process to date, and we know that the staff of the city's new Office of Arts and Culture are in the process of defining the city's own action plan. And I believe Charity is going to be talking with you in more detail about that towards the end of our presentation. Our planning process was guided by this steering committee, Committee members were nominated by officials from the 7 participating jurisdictions, and they are cross-sector by design. They are the voice of the community, and they represent arts, culture, creative economy, education, business, social justice, local government, tourism, and other sectors. So this steering committee really went on a journey with us through this process. As the consultants from out of town, it took time for us to all build understanding and trust together, and to harness all the experience and intellectual power of this group. We were ultimately quite successful in that work, and more than other plans, our creative future was truly co-created by the community. Committee members created the diversity, equity, and inclusion statements in the plan. They shaped the community engagement. They asked challenging questions, and they sharpened the thinking all along the way. Now, our creative future is distinguished from the past 2 cultural plans in part by the breadth of our community engagement. With the active participation of the steering committee, staff, and the 7 jurisdictions, we had more than 3,500 people directly involved with this plan, and that's a high number compared to other communities. We provided multiple opportunities and touch points in the process and extended the time period to be able to bridge gaps in that engagement. This included stakeholder interviews as well as 50 discussion groups held throughout the region. We did 2 community surveys, and after the plan was drafted, we held 2 town halls and had an online comment period for the community to review and weigh in on the plan. And we made a number of changes based on their suggestions. Here's a partial list of the 50 discussion groups. It shows the breadth of community engagement and the inclusion of voices not often heard in master plans like Our Creative Future. As you know, Portland's creative community is a big tent. We met with the arts and cultural community, marginalized populations and artists, different geographic areas of the counties, people working in the for-profit creative sector, youth arts, arts education, and many more parts of that ecosystem. We often partnered with community-based organizations inside and outside the arts to reach people, 3 and 4 seats back from the arts table, and we're grateful for their help in making the plan far more inclusive than other cultural plans. The statistically valid public survey allowed us to hear from a representative sample of residents throughout the region. This includes people who don't normally participate in the arts at all. It also included an oversampling of people of color. The infographics in this presentation are based on that statistically valid survey. So in addition to community engagement, the planning team conducted supplemental research to address specific questions surrounding the plan. We did a review of the past 5 years of arts grants by the 9 largest public and private arts funders in the region. We assessed the strength and character of the regional market for the arts. We reviewed relevant arts funding models from around the United States, and we included 2 economic studies of the creative economy. So what did we learn from all of this community engagement and research? Here are a few of the key messages. First, the region highly values arts and culture and participates at high levels. Specifically, residents throughout the Tri-County area prioritize making creative activities and opportunities more accessible to everyone, ensuring equitable access to arts and culture, and providing events that are inclusive and share cultural experiences across communities. So you can see that each priority registers at about 2/3 or 3/4 of the population. So again, these are high values. Fully 80% of residents support an increase in dedicated government funding for the arts and the creative life of their community. And you can see the percentages were nearly equal in each of the 3 counties, and this includes the opinions of the folks least personally involved in the arts. Now, we heard from the arts and culture community that it's facing multiple and worsening challenges. These limit their ability to serve the community, and they threaten the region's reputation as a desirable creative place. You've already been hearing this from multiple constituents, but one of our studies documented some specifics. It showed that over the past 5 years, the total amount of arts grants has declined 6% when adjusted for inflation. Yet costs have risen significantly during that time. So one quick technical note. This finding about arts grants is not the same as the City of Portland's arts grants. It includes grants made by the 9 largest funders, including RAC's grant making, which is funded in part from the city. Now, on the plus side, 3/4 of all residents in the Tri-County area have attended the arts in the last 6 months. They share a belief that the arts are valuable in and of themselves, but also play multiple roles in the community. They agree that arts and culture are beneficial to themselves, to their families, and to their local communities, all at rates of about 85%. And we heard repeatedly in the planning process how arts are essential partners in education, economic prosperity, downtown vitality, mental health, homelessness, youth development, cultural heritage, vibrant places, tourism, and many more elements of civic life. This is another distinguishing feature in the Portland region. These are not always shared values in a community. Portland's already there. You don't need to make the case for that. And now I'd like to introduce you to 2 of our exceptional steering committee members who helped shape our new vision and develop the recommendations that you see in the plan, Subhashini Ganesan-Forbes and Kimberly Howard-Wade. John Goodwin from the Portland Art Museum had hoped to join us as well, but he was called away unexpectedly and sends his warmest regards.
Welcome, Kimberly and Suba. Are there other members of the steering committee here today? Could you all stand, please? Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Do I? Okay. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Subhashini Ganesan-Forbes. I'm choreographer and chair of the Oregon Arts Commission.
Good afternoon. My name is Kimberly Howard-Wade, and I'm the executive director of Caldera, a creative youth development nonprofit.
Our vision is a tri-county region where all of us have access to relevant and dynamic arts, culture, and creative expressions as an essential part of our lives. In the next 5 slides, Kimberly and I will elaborate on each of the 5 goals that you see in this slide. To set the stage, it is important to celebrate the work of the steering committee that Kimberly and I have been serving on for the last 18-odd months. The beautiful humans who make up the steering committee identify in so many ways, including culture bearers, artists, solopreneurs, arts leaders, community advocates, government employees, thinkers, parents, immigrants, change makers. The list goes on. Together, we had intense dialogues and strategic sessions. All along, we were clear about our collective responsibility of transparency and accountability. Steering committee members actively built, led, and reported back on various community engagement events that are significant to our Tri-County region. We often asked for more information, more time to build trust, more flexibility to construct equitable and safe spaces for communities to engage. The steering committee in 2023 literally steered through unexpected twists and turns throughout our work. We started with Commissioner Carmen Rubio's leadership, moved into leadership from Commissioner Dan Ryan's office, and are currently working closely with the newly appointed Vibrant Community Service Area and the Office of Arts and Culture. Many of us on the steering committee spent countless hours in dialogue, fact-finding, and building bridges with community members during the months of the intergovernmental agreement transition to funding the Regional Arts and Culture Council. In the next few slides, you will see some of the highlights of the work we have done collaboratively with our consulting team and Jeff Hawthorne. Know that we have worked our fullest to bring the voices of our communities to the fore in each and every one of these recommendations. We also want to clarify that our fellow arts, culture, and creative advocates in the region might be puzzled about perhaps two things. One, so much of the information available here is not new. To that, we want to say, while the information is not new to us in the field, it most probably will be to our governmental leaders and fellow citizens. And secondly, you might think some of the strategies we highlight here already have thriving examples in our midst. And to this observation, we say that it is time to use this cultural plan as an advocacy tool to make visible, highlight, and celebrate the champions in our region. Use this document, its findings, goals, and strategies to ask your governmental representatives to link arms with those who are already making a change through arts, culture, and creativity. Okay, onward. Kimberly will start us out with the first goal.
So goal number 1, as you can see on this slide, is to build towards an inclusive arts and culture community that reflects, serves, and welcomes all. Our advocacy in this goal and its subsequent strategies is asking the City of Portland and the region to provide easily accessible and increased opportunities for traditionally under-recognized populations and communities. So here are some particular sectors we ask for you to consider. We ask for you to consider building more opportunities for artists and culture bearers with disabilities to present their work city and region-wide. We ask for you to consider supporting the creation of more safe and welcoming spaces for LGBTQIA+ and immigrant communities to enjoy and share their cultural expressions. We ask for you to consider increasing support for programs in libraries, parks, communities, including and especially many of our neighbors in East Portland. We ask you to consider creating a racial and cultural equity fund in the City of Portland that could be a public-private partnership. This fund would ideally be designed to distribute more funding to arts and culture programs that are led by and serving traditionally under-recognized communities in Portland, communities of the global majority, LGBTQIA+ communities, and immigrant communities. We ask you to consider providing a foundational support for K-12 arts education and creative youth development. This will allow for sustaining a vibrant and nimble teaching artist pool, which is key to arts learning. Our students will have the opportunity to receive a more holistic, creative, and arts-centered education like the one that you witnessed just now today with the band, the jazz band. All of the above strategies are encompassed under a larger steering committee recommendation, and we ask that institutions such as the City of Portland and other governmental entities build meaningful channels for continued community engagement so that strategies can concur through informed dialogue and partnership. Any success, even small, is seen as possible only if there is a long-term partnership with relevant communities where their voices are not just included, but they are part of the conversation and the decision-making in every step, envisioning, charting, implementation, and assessment of the programs and the process. Okay, are you ready? Goal number 2 is to forge purposeful connection and coordination within the arts and cultural community. So region-wide, what this looks like is a good idea and a good time to broaden the definition of arts and culture to include not only artists and nonprofit arts organizations, but also independent musicians, makers, culture bearers, cultural organizations, individual creatives, and small businesses, as well as creative startups. Since the early 2000s, the region has been elevated to the national stage for our craft beers and artisanal cheeses, for street art, food carts, and tattoo artists, not to mention sneaker culture and outdoor and athletic apparel. In the 1990s, Wyden and Kennedy put Portland on the map for creative brand agencies, and since then, smaller agencies and creative startups continue to be economic drivers in this community. We recommend that government agencies expand funding opportunities, support services, and advocacy for this kind of economic support and impact, which attracts and keeps vibrant creatives, artists, and culture bearers in the region. I'm going to repeat that, not just attracting those, but keeping them in the region. And a more vibrant community is the result. We also encourage the community to organize for effective advocacy on public policy and action. This means that this region joins the state, and the state joins the nation in being one resounding message about the vital role of arts learning for every child. Not once a month, not one arts teacher for a whole district. I'm talking about sequential arts learning, arts integration into subjects, all subjects, access to arts and cultural experiences, and what I do at Caldera, creative youth development every day as an integral part of the education system, not just an add-on or a nice to have. And that means that we have to have one resounding message in support of financially supporting creative community across the civic infrastructure. All of these creatives and artists and individual musicians and all the things that we've just been talking about, those are individuals who are affected by civic infrastructure. They are affected by the housing crisis. They are affected by childcare issues. They are affected by our healthcare policies. It's all integrated. It's all connected. And this means that we ask the City of Portland leadership through the new Office of Arts and Culture in partnership with RAC to stand up a network of local arts and cultural service organizations across the region. All of this will ensure that we are fully and holistically supporting the sector, regardless of municipal boundaries, or whether you are an artist, or a creative, or both, or an individual solopreneur, is that the right word, Suba? Or a social impact nonprofit, or as I like to say, social impact organization. Because even if you're not making a profit, you're still a business. Finally, the city should promote information sharing and networking within the creative community we've just described by creating an online hub of resources. City of Portland, let's get back on the front page of the New York Times as the nation's most vibrant and creative places to live. Back to you, Suba.
Yes.
Goal 3. To empower the arts and culture community with sufficient, sustainable funding and other resources. Everyone in the sector probably will jump up and say, this is the goal that deserves a lot of your and our region's attention. Those of us in the field are seeing artists leave our city and region to greener pastures across the country, where they can jump through less hoops to receive funding and have the possibility of owning a home. We're seeing less private and public dollars allocated to arts, culture, and creative projects. Inflation is high. Everything from insurance to renovation prices have skyrocketed. So the steering committee strongly recommends that our regional governments take a fresh and innovative approach and include our sector into existing and upcoming financial incentive pathways that already are planned for businesses and the for-profit sector. Below is a list of more strategies. Develop pipelines between community colleges and universities that offer creative arts and culture degrees to bring the next generation into our region. Truly develop accessible and comprehensive plans to provide safe and affordable spaces to diverse community of artists, culture bearers, and creatives. The city's Arts and Culture Office, we suggest, should be building a formal relationship with our region's individual donors, corporate funders, and private foundations so that strategic mileposts are built to encourage pooled funds and resources. This goal, Goal 3, also is a call to action to the City of Portland to champion a systematic plan so that the Portland 5 Centers for the Arts, i.e. the Schnitz, Newmark, Winningstad, Brunner, and Keller auditoriums, are more affordable, sustainable, and accessible both to its longtime local users and new local emerging organizations. We acknowledge that one of the P5 venues, namely the Keller Auditorium, is currently on the visibility map due to the need to reimagine what the next iteration of a Keller-like auditorium will be. We ask the city government to not let this project overshadow the rest of the P5 venues. Our local artists and arts organizations of all sizes need to receive the benefit of these publicly owned and maintained spaces as much as touring and curated out-of-town performances and events. Now back to Kimberly.
Goal number 4 is my favorite. When the steering council asked that we talk about vibrant communities, and this office was then created, a vibrant community office, it is because several of us said that it should be all economic development, and then economic development should be renamed vibrant communities. Goal number 4 is to drive economic growth through the arts and cultural community. And there is so much work to do here, not because the arts and cultural community is not trying, but because it needs the support. Regionally, we should strengthen how government agencies and the arts community collaborate and coordinate with tourism, for example. And there is a clear need to build markets for the commercial arts sector. We also need to leverage members of this newly defined, which we just called creative economy, as leaders in building vibrant communities, which leads to job creation. This means jobs for current residents, and this means new companies being drawn to this community because of our rich creative economy. We only need to look at recent history to remember that our growth as a region was driven by our being able to attract trade sector business to the region. This can only be repeated when the companies coming here can attract and retain talent to fill their roles. In order to attract and retain talent, the region needs a pool of talent. The 2013 IBM study of CEOs still holds that employers want creative employees. They want employees with entrepreneurial spirits. Eco Northwest, in a study back in, I think, 2017, in talking to the STEM community, wrote, the future workforce needs to be good at math and be more human in this increasingly automated world. But if an employer had to choose one, they'd choose someone who is more human. And the only way to teach being more human is through the arts, through regular creative practice, through understanding humanity in order to serve, to invent, and to create, and to fix, and to empower, and ultimately to shift the narrative, and yes, to make money, which creates jobs, which creates talent who want to go, or I should say, which attracts talent because there are jobs. And this talent wants to go to a cultural festival. They want to be at an artisan booth at the farmer's market or Saturday market. They want to go to the dance performance. They want to go to the opera, the ballet, the outdoor concert. These people that we want to attract and maintain, those who are already in our communities, want their children to have a well-rounded educational experience. So, some suggested strategies are listed on the slide, so I won't read them, but I will highlight revitalizing downtown Portland and other cultural corridors, permitting for event production, very, very important. We used to be the place that people came to make movies. I know because I was one of the actors that was employed because of that. That has everything to do with permitting. If it's not easy, the filmmakers can't do it. We need to measure the economic impact and the ROI. And then we need to provide economic development support for the commercial arts sector, including music, I just mentioned film, media, fashion, and design, and the list actually goes on. We should consult with and partner with social service organizations and government agencies to identify and provide high-priority social supports, because the artist community is also sometimes our low-income community, or I shouldn't say often is. I'm not going to say sometimes. And now back to you, Suba.
All right, y'all, goal 5. To utilize the arts and cultural community as a vital partner in the health and development of every community. And this is an important thing that we're thinking about in our city, I think, every day at this point. Regionally, we have seen for decades that arts and culture investments actually support strong and equitable outcomes in health, transportation, housing, community engagement, public safety, and more. Studies like the 2023 American for the Arts Economic Prosperity Report 6 and the 2020 Portland Metropolitan Area Arts Ecology Study by DeVos Institute all showcase that the impact of arts and culture investments often positively support other municipal functions. However, these studies seem to live their course and fade away without permanently imprinting the need for sustained and increased funding for arts and culture. So it seems critical to build an impactful and region-centered metric and evaluation system. The City of Portland invested in some impactful projects during the pandemic that speaks to the power of the arts in supporting larger social service missions. One such project was the 2021 through 2022 Community Healing Through the Arts Initiative. This initiative provided financial support to community events and curated events that respond to community needs. It was designed to support art-focused, community-centered efforts to process the emotional toll of the COVID-19 pandemic, economic recession, racial reckoning, racial justice reckoning, wildfires, and an ice storm. So the steering committee suggests that the city and regional municipalities take stock of these successes, the successes that they have had in the last decade, and build more opportunities through programs that celebrate and support community-based creativity. For the newly emerging Portland's Office of Arts and Culture, we ask you to explore policies that provide incentives for public art creation in private real estate development. Consider creating an artist roster that expands into artist residencies within city government, and perhaps bringing greater visibility and expansion to the Portland's Creative Laureate Program. We also ask for the Office of Arts and Culture to deeply consider the Portland Central City Task Force recommendations published in December 2023. Build applicable and tangible ways for the arts and culture sector to be highlighted and supported as a key revitalization provider. And with that, we'll hand it back over to staff to close things out and answer your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's hear it for our steering committee. Yeah. We're moving. We have philanthropic leaders who invest in the arts, and we have leaders of arts organizations in the audience. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here today. Please don't be shy. Will you all stand up, please? Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Yes. Thank you so much for coming to a city council meeting on a Wednesday afternoon. Yeah. Welcome, Charity.
So it's actually back to me. And I want to just say Thank you to Kimberly and Suba. It's rare that these kinds of presentations have that depth of leadership from the steering committee involved in presenting the plan. And they literally demonstrate how this plan is the voice of the community. So thank you. Let's see, next slide, please. Let's talk about funding for the plan. You know, plans like this raise a lot of expectations and they can create consternation about how are we going to pay for it all. So as Kimberly and Suba mentioned, our creative future documented once again the need for more resources for the arts, culture, and creative economy. This echoes the past two cultural plans dating back to '92, and there simply isn't enough money in the system to fully enable the work and contributions of our creative community. So this plan is a call to action, but it also contains a range of options to make progress. First, cities and counties can continue and increase their current allocations for arts and economic development in the creative sector. As City Council, you can revisit the Arts Education and Access Fund. The arts tax was the crowning achievement of the past cultural plan, as Jeff said, and it's accomplished a tremendous amount for arts education in the public schools. This recommendation calls for updating the revenue source to increase revenue, increase collections, improve equity, and serve both arts education and the arts community. A regional revenue source for the arts is not feasible at the present time, but remains a longer-term objective originally envisioned in the '92 plan. Our creative future also calls for renewed advocacy, building on and adding to the work of current players in this space. This can impact arts budgets both on the local but also the state level. Now, we met 4 times with philanthropic foundations that fund the arts. This is more than we've done in any other cultural plan in any other city. This is a committed cohort of funders. They already have amazing programs and practices, and they've demonstrated a collaborative, recent collaborative action on behalf of the arts. There are additional opportunities to increase the pie of revenues for arts and culture in the plan. And we said at the start of this presentation that our creative future is a regional framework. Implementation now passes to cities, counties, metro, RAC, and each local government has the opportunity to create its own action plan. Other communities and organizations are also invited and encouraged to build on the framework to plan for and move forward their own arts and culture. The City of Portland will be a vital part of a regional implementation team now forming. We call it a coalition of the willing to support one another's action plans and provide accountability to the community. And now for more information on next steps and to close things out, I'll turn it over to Charity Montez.
Thank you, David. Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Charity Montez, and I am the new Director for the new Office of Arts and Culture. It's an honor to be here today, sharing in this important milestone for our arts ecosystem. And I want to begin by acknowledging the work of the steering committee members who spoke earlier, Suba and Kimberly, as well as the many other steering committee members who could not join us today, but contributed to this work over the last 2 years. Thank you. I am so grateful for your expertise. I also want to thank my colleague Jeff Hawthorne for his leadership on this cultural plan. It's a privilege to be passed the baton at this juncture, and I'm eager to build on all the work that Jeff has done with community and our regional partners during this next phase. As you've seen, our Creative Future is a regional plan that was created by community and that is customizable for all jurisdictions. We see the Portland-specific recommendations of our Creative Future as a kind of roadmap for the Office of Arts and Culture, and we are already underway on next steps. We're taking a hard, creative look at our arts investments, and we've begun changing our service delivery models so that we can reinvest savings into some of the strategies that you heard about today. We will develop the plan using existing resources, and we will identify the budget and timeline for specific strategies and actions within the action plan itself. As part of the ongoing implementation and accountability team that David mentioned, we'll be launching a new implementation website this summer, and we'll continue to collaborate with our jurisdictional counterparts in the Tri-County region to support the adoption of their individualized plans for their communities. At the same time, We know that our creative future is not built in silos, and the Office of Arts and Culture can't implement all the recommended strategies for the City of Portland alone. We look forward to collaborating across city service areas as we develop the Portland Action Plan, and we will work to align the implementation of our creative future with other planning efforts citywide. We may be back to council later this year to check in on progress, but the new council will approve the final Portland Action Plan. Today, we ask that you vote to accept this report for the regional framework, Our Creative Future, and we welcome feedback on this council's priorities as we build Portland's local strategy for arts and culture. But before we transition to that, I get the privilege and want to take one more moment to remind us of the incredible power of the city's investments in the arts and invite award-winning singer, dancer, actor, pianist, and former Harpy, Henri, to help us celebrate with a final performance. Henri?
Testing, 1, 2. Can you hear me, guys? Wonderful. I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me here today. I'm one of the artists that's directly affected by the decisions that are made here, and it means immensely a lot to me, and also to my 2 nephews that are back here that are 5 and 8 years old, who are also artists. After all, the decisions that we make are directly affecting not only us and individuals like me, but also these guys, right? So thank you, and please enjoy. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the money of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chesed rod, felt in the day when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. God of our wearies, God of our silent tears, God who hath brought us far along the way, thou it all thy in thy path we pray. Thank you.
That must complete the report. That's a heck of a note to finish on. Thank you so much for that incredible performance. Thank you for your thoughtful presentation, colleagues. Do we have any questions? Well, maybe I'll ask first, do we have public testimony on this item, Keelan?
We do. We have Matthew Miller.
Matthew Miller, did you want to come up and give your public testimony?
Where do I stand?
Just come on. There's an empty chair right up here for you. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Matthew Miller. I live in Southwest Portland. I just want to give testimony here in support. I hope the city approves what is in front of them. And going forward, I hope that the conversations in terms of funding involve the creative community. I hope it just doesn't end here and it goes into the politicians and the bureaucrats. I hope that the individual artists are involved going forward in determining and helping to determine allocation of funding mechanisms to ensure sustainable and equitable funding. Just from my experience, oftentimes when government grants and stuff, they're a little bit hard for small organizations to do. So I hope as you continue with this that the individual arts makers and creatives are involved in all the decision-making going forward.
Good admonition. Thank you. Appreciate it. Very good. Colleagues, sorry.
We have a second person signed up. Barry Bridge Crane, Simca Johnson.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thanks. Good to be back with you. Awesome presentation by the steering committee. I don't think there's anything more to say except to add a physical note that was sort of missing and is really sadly missing from a lot of your conversations, especially those who have a Stanford education or may have worked for Bank of America. Do not talk about these programs as $15 million or X million dollar programs. They need to take a specific percentage of the averaged budgets and grow each year. So I'm not even sure we're really getting equity when we look back to when the $15 million floor was first funded and take that buying power and look at what we're doing now. So I hope that in the future, after you pass this, we can massage arts funding so that, yeah, maybe unfortunately it will have to cut when there's a really severe economic recession. But when we have growth, the arts won't be lagging. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Gonzalez has a question.
I was just going to make my comments, so.
Go for it.
All right. First, I'd like to commend Commissioner Ryan, Jeff Hawthorne, the entire city and Portland Arts team and the steering committee on this huge undertaking. Colleagues, today we embark on not just a continuation, but an evolution, adapting to the current landscape and the challenges that the arts face in our city, our community today. I want to start by noting this plan emphasized integrating arts and culture into broader community issues like housing, safety, and education. Public safety and community well-being are paramount. Integrating arts and culture into our strategies for housing, education, and safety isn't just an added benefit, it's a necessity. These sectors are interconnected, and by supporting the arts, we are also enhancing public safety and community cohesion. Securing regional investment for arts perceived as Portland-centric assets requires us to clearly demonstrate the regional benefits and the economic impact. We need to show how these investments benefit the entire region, not just the city. The economic impact of the arts extends beyond city borders, contributes to job creation, tourism, regional prosperity. But let's not demean arts by only emphasizing its secondary benefits. Art is an end in itself, a source of personal and communal expression, connection. It is self-actualization, and it is beauty all at once. Culture and arts and storytelling is crucial. It allows us to preserve our history, celebrate our diversity, and strengthen our community bonds. I am proud to support a plan designed to ensure that our cultural institutions and creative individuals have the support they need to thrive. By building on past successes and addressing current needs, we can create a sustainable, impactful future for arts and culture in Portland. Together, we can ensure that Portland embraces creativity and cultural richness. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. So colleagues, at this point, if nobody has any further questions, I will entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Commissioner Ryan moves acceptance of the report. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Gonzalez seconds. Any further discussion on the report? Why don't we go right into the roll?
Ryan.
Yes, thank you to everyone who presented, and for those of you who represent action in the arts, music, and culture in our market. So many of you are in the audience today, and it's really, again, incredible to have you here. I happen to know a lot of you personally, and what you do on a day-to-day basis is noted. And it's really our opportunity to deepen the partnership with all the sectors, government, and of course, those who are doing the art and the investors. It's a multi-sector approach. Government will not and will never do this alone. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge you, Jeff Hawthorne. There's been a lot of moving parts in the last 4 years. And I know I played my part in that. And I just really appreciate how you've been steadfast in keeping this moving along. And I just want to acknowledge that today. So let's give it up for Jeff Hawthorne. Doing an amends here on the dais. No, really, thank you so much for hanging in there. The goals were so crisp and clear. And actually, Kimberly, I've known you for decades now, and you kind of scared me today. And that's a compliment, because it was just so clear what you wanted us to focus on. And I think I'll go back and listen to that again. So thank you so much, both you and Suba, for your presentation. Colleagues, I think you know I'm really proud to serve in this role of vibrant community service area and bring forward our creative future as Portland and the region's roadmap for the arts, culture, and our creative economy. Even before the mayor assigned me to this role as arts commissioner, I've had a long-standing love for the arts. It actually began with my mom putting me in dance classes as I just wasn't hitting it out of the park in Little League. I'm like, please don't hit the ball to me. And the next thing you know, I'm in a dance class. Yep, that's how it all started. I just want to acknowledge parks as well, because it provides an access for little Dannies like me out there that really needed something to do in the summer, and there were choices beyond sports. And so I do think they're connected, but I really want to acknowledge the accessibility we offer in Portland through the park system. Our creative future offers Portland and the region a cultural roadmap to enhance arts and culture in our region. And I've said this many times before, and I'll just keep saying it. The arts are the soul of the city. They activate us as a community. They allow us to connect. And together, we joyfully stimulate the economy. The arts enhance public life and are a driving force behind the state's entertainment and creative economy, which is a that's $9 billion backbone of our state's economic infrastructure. Arts is about jobs. Arts is about survival. Arts is a major part of our economy, and it should never be secondary. Government, again, can't do this alone, so thanks to all the partners who are here today. Together, we'll keep each other accountable, and that's why it was so important, along with arts and parks, to come together, because when you really think about why you moved to Portland, why you stayed in Portland, why families for multi-generations have stayed in Portland, it's because of arts. It's because of parks. It's what makes Portland, Portland. So we're here today acknowledging that's our strength, and together we will keep moving it along. I accept this report.
Gonzalez.
Vote aye to accept the report.
Maps.
I want to thank Commissioner Ryan for bringing this item forward. Very much appreciate all the voices that we heard from today. This is really compelling work, which is why I vote aye.
Rubio.
I want to thank Commissioner Ryan and the arts team for bringing this item to council. This project was and is a really big lift, and the credit here is to the deep engagement with community that is so evident today, and the steering committee work, and also the staff and consultants. It's just really excellent. It was also wonderful to break up our day with a reminder through the live performances about what's at stake here today as well. That was really important and lovely and grounding in a really good way. I also want to especially thank the community members who served on the steering committee, Suba and Kimberly, two people I respect tremendously. You gave a great presentation with heart. Thanks for being part of the team and presenting, and for making a real effort to make sure that this was truly representative and inclusive. I really appreciate that. And also, Charity and your team, it's just, as always, you do such great work, and thank you so much for all you do. And also, I want to lift up the staff that also started this work, Jeff Hawthorne, of course, and Stephen Herrera, who's now at the county chair's office, for getting things started and keeping things going, and with the staff from the other jurisdictions as well. So happy to see the intersection about arts investments and economic development and the revitalization of downtown and the cultural corridors, and hear that need to facilitate permitting and events. We're right there with you. So it's just a reminder that arts and culture is very intersectional with multiple other issues, and it's also essential to our overall health and vitality as a city. So very happy to vote aye.
Wheeler.
There's so many things I could say, but I won't. As I get closer to the end of my term, I get more introspective, and I probably say a lot of things I shouldn't say, but I don't want the opportunity to pass and wish I'd said things that I didn't. I'll start with the obvious, which is thank you. This is a strong regional framework for the arts. I think it's fantastic. It's just super tight, well thought out, well done. Commissioner Ryan, you've taken the ball here and you've led terrifically well. Sonia, thank you for the work that you will do, that you already done. And I appreciate you raising Commissioner Fish. I actually wondered if, when he passed away, if the city's core interest in the arts would pass with him, because he was such a force in this sector. And I'm really pleased that that has not been the case. And he would be pleased as well, that the work he was passionate about continues to this day under this council, and the leadership that we have in front of us here today, and the people that are represented in this room. Now, the thing I will probably regret having said later, it was mentioned that one of our objectives should be to have the New York Times once again single us out for greatness. And I believe that too, but with one minor amendment. And here it goes. I feel like we got used to the New York Times validating the work that we did here. And when they stopped validating our work, we stopped believing in ourselves. The same people that were here when things were great are still in this room today, with the notable exception that I just mentioned. And I'll just put it this way. Nobody is going to validate us. We have to validate ourselves and believe in the work that we are doing here. And I look around and I see amazing things happening. Not only this report and the collaboration that was required. Brian, when the arts people were asked to see, you were too modest to even stand up. And you've got one of the largest investments in the city's history taking place literally right down the street. And we now have this incredible opportunity around the Keller, or potentially at PSU, or potentially at OMSI. It's an embarrassment of riches. I'm sorry we actually, at some point, have to narrow that scope and choose, but it shows that there's a lot of interest in what we do in this community and how we do it. And throughout the worst of the pandemic, in the early days of the recovery, it was arts and culture that brought us back first. And I remember how many hundreds of thousands of people showed up for the Winter Lights Festival. People were eager to come back, and it was the arts community that led the comeback. And all of us now acknowledge, maybe in a way we kind of understood before, but didn't really understand until now, which is without the arts and culture community, this city cannot be vibrant, it cannot be successful, and it cannot be economically prosperous. And this regional framework acknowledges all of that. And so I think it's just great. When I'm gone, I'm going to leave you all to it. And I wish you the best of luck. And I'm happy to support your work and live in your reflective glory. Thank you for the work that you will do. I vote aye, and the report is accepted.
I don't think you'll regret saying any of that. Yeah, thanks.
Not yet. Not until the New York Times calls and says, what do you mean? Next item, please, 421. This is a non-emergency ordinance.
Revise solid waste and recycling rates and fees for franchised residential collection and the
We take
commercial
just like a
tonnage fee
2-minute break
effective
between arts
July
and
1st,
solid waste.
2024.
All right.
'Cause it's so noisy, everyone's like,
Before I turn this over to Commissioner Rubio, we've had a request for a couple of minute break. Why don't we take a 5-minute recess?
Just, I mean, everyone's like so noisy.
Okay,
right now.
good. 5-minute break. back in session. Item number 421, please. This is the first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. And if you could read it again, I know we did it, but it sort of got lost.
That sounds good. 421, revised solid waste and recycling rates and fees for franchised residential collection and the commercial tonnage fee effective July 1st, 2024.
So Commissioner Rubio, the standard has been set for the afternoon. We're expecting musical entertainment, perhaps a
Yeah.
vocalist to kick this off.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint. We're going to be talking about solid waste. So the ordinance before us adjusts rates and fees associated with garbage and recycling collection for 1 to 4 unit residential customers and the commercial tonnage fee, and implements a recommended process for improvement that moves the rates from being embedded in code to a policy sheet. Portland has long been a leader in offering recycling and composting opportunities in our community, and our residents and businesses are recycling and composting over half their waste, which is much higher than the national average of 32%. Every year, in accordance with the franchise agreement governing residential garbage and recycling service, the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability contracts with a certified public accountant to conduct a detailed review of the cost of service. The franchise agreement and the city code require that we adjust rates to cover that cost of service. It's important to remember that the rate increases we are proposing are a pass-through. Roughly 1/3 of the proposed rate increase is directly tied to substantial increases in Metro disposal fees. I would like to note that 2 weeks ago, in response to that increase, we all, this council, signed a letter to Metro to express concerns about the magnitude of disposal fee increases in recent years, the need for better governance structures in determining disposal fees, and calling for a fair approach to revenue sharing. Thank you to my colleagues for joining me in signing this letter, making it clear to Metro that we share concerns about increased fees in our community. We take the possibility of rate increases very seriously. This year, we made changes to moderate our rate increases, including lengthening a planned transition to consistent color garbage carts and closely reviewing reported general and administrative costs to ensure accurate cost considerations. Today's ordinance also addresses our commercial recycling, composting, and public trash collection programs, which are funded in part through a fee charged on each ton of garbage collected from businesses and multifamily properties. In accordance with our long-term funding plan for the public trash can program and to fund assistance to businesses in our community in successful food waste composting and reduction, we're recommending an increase in our commercial tonnage fee. Portland is also committed to a clean and livable city, and BPS's public trash can program is an integral part of our community's ongoing garbage and recycling system. BPS has successfully expanded this program to 1,440 cans, including Southeast Portland in late 2021, North Portland in 2022, Northeast Portland in 2023. Additional containers will be installed in Northwest Portland later this year. We're also directing our commercial tonnage fee revenues towards emergency cleanup efforts housed in the impact reduction program, with roughly $1.1 million provided each fiscal year. We have a world-class residential garbage and recycling collection system and a very strong and growing public trash system. Today's proposal helps ensure we can maintain necessary levels of service for these critical programs. So I will now invite BPS's Interim Director, Eric Engstrom, to get us started.
Is this on? Thank you, Commissioner Rubio, and thank you, Commissioner Ryan, for the 2 minutes gap between arts and solid waste. Appreciate it. Mayor Wheeler, Commissioners, for the record, my name is Eric Engstrom. I'm the Interim Director of the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability. Maintaining affordable rates for the waste and recycling system has always been a core goal of the program, and that remains true this year as well. As the Commissioner already mentioned, this program, in addition to maintaining a world-class system of waste and recycling, has been core to the city's response to livability concerns over the years, and the rollout of the public trash can program and the expansion of that program have been a key part of their work in recent years as well. I'm going to turn it over to our solid waste manager, Eben Polk, and our operations manager, Quentin Bauer, to go over the details of the proposed rates, as well as the commercial tonnage fee proposal, and describe a minor code amendment that's part of this package that we believe will facilitate future fee schedule updates.
All right, thank you very much, Eric. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. We're happy to be here with you today. For the record, my name is Eben Polk, and I'm the Solid Waste and Recycling Manager at the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability. With me is Quentin Bauer, our Waste Operations Manager. We appreciate the chance to be here and present the results of this year's review. Before we begin, I'd like to just provide a quick overview of our agenda. So next slide, please. Thanks. We'll first share just a quick scoping of the solid waste system in Portland and how it is structured. We'll then share how the residential rate review process unfolds and the timeline for that review each year. Then we'll outline the proposed residential rates for fiscal year 24-25. Then we'll move on to the commercial tonnage fee. And then we'll describe a minor code update that Commissioner Rubio mentioned that will simplify this process in future years. And then lastly, we'll have time for any questions you have for us. Next slide, please. The city's solid waste system is split into two different categories, residential and commercial. What we refer to as the residential system includes single-family homes up through fourplexes. And in this sector, the city reviews and sets rates for collection services provided. To help improve safety in our collection system and offer a new convenience to customers in our single-family residential system, we did just want to note that starting in June, we'll offer the safe collection of household batteries for recycling. And we appreciate your support, commissioners, in offering that service and the encouragement of that service, notably Commissioner Ryan. So you'll hear more about that offering soon. Then on the right side of your slide, what we refer to as the commercial system includes businesses, construction, and multifamily properties with 5 or more units. Although we don't set rates for this sector, we do charge a commercial tonnage fee and provide oversight through commercial hauling permits. Next slide, please. Just as a reminder, you've seen this slide before, but approximately a third of the waste in our community comes from the residential sector, with the remainder in the commercial. We'll first talk again about the rate review process pertaining to the residential sector. Next slide, please. We manage residential collection through a franchise system. It's a hybrid public-private partnership that captures the benefits of public oversight with the benefits of private sector competition and efficiency. We manage this franchise system for several overarching public benefits. First, of course, we need to meet the need for a waste collection service that protects environmental and public health. We've also been able to develop a well-functioning system that's successful at diverting waste materials to better and preferable outcomes, such as recycling, composting, and of course also providing resources and education around waste reduction in our community. Together with the waste hauling companies, would deliver financially sustainable and good value collection service that supports good local jobs. And lastly, the residential collection system that we have in place allows us to ensure that our system is resilient and reliable. Now, the City of Portland has a franchise agreement that governs this system and the process for reviewing residential rates. It requires us to conduct a rate review process annually and to adopt rates sufficient to cover the system's costs and operating margin. This rate-setting process ensures that we can maintain a financially viable, efficient, and sustainable collection system while ensuring that fees are fair and reasonable and reflect the city's goals. While costs do increase, some years more than others, we do vet these and validate them. And individual haulers are not each guaranteed a specific profit margin, which means they'll all have the incentive to continue delivering service in a cost-effective and efficient way. So with that background, I'd like to turn it over to Quentin to talk about this year's rate review process.
Thanks. Next slide, please. Thanks, Eben, and thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for having us today. For the record, my name is Quentin Bauer, and I'm the Waste Operations Manager at the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability. We will now review the existing rates, the rate review process, and the proposed rates for the next fiscal year. Next slide, please. As you can see on this slide, 39% of a customer's solid waste bill pays for the collection of materials. This includes driver salaries and benefits, vehicles, and fuel. 25% of each customer's bill pays for the disposal costs of materials, including metro transfer station fees, recycling processing costs at material recovery facilities, and metro fees for dumping compost. 19% of each bill pays for the administration aspects of the hauler's operations, including management salaries and benefits, office rent, and customer service. Roughly 9% of each bill goes to company profit, and 8% is paid to the city as a franchise fee to fund our work to manage the system and to conduct outreach and education to customers, including fulfilling the city's obligations under the Oregon Opportunity to Recycle Act. Next slide. Today's hearing represents one of the final steps in a 6-month process that gets underway each January when we send our haulers a template to report their detailed costs. In March through April, we review and vet these costs with the help of a third-party CPA and incorporate them into our rate model. In May, we held a public information session to discuss rates and are now bringing the proposed rates to City Council. If approved, the rates will go into effect on July 1st, concurrent with notification to customers of the new rates. The detailed cost reports we receive from our haulers include the cost to provide collection and disposal services for garbage, recycling, food scraps, and yard debris. Residential rates are based on a sample of hauler costs the previous years, then vetted by the city with support from a third-party CPA and economist. We also incorporate known upcoming costs, such as if there's a new union contract and known wage increases, or the disposal fee set by Metro. Once these costs are vetted, the rate is set to cover them, plus the target operating margin of 9.5% and the franchise fee. Next slide. Before we share the proposed rates for next year, we'd like to quickly review the current rates. As you can see here, the most common service levels are the 35-gallon garbage container with every other week service at a cost of $39 per month, and a 60-gallon garbage container with every other week service at a cost of $43.55 per month. Next slide. Now we turn our attention to the proposed rates. In the coming year, we are seeing several drivers of increased real costs. First, Metro, which sets disposal fees for their transfer stations, adopted an 11.9 increase in their per ton waste fee, so that increase is passed through as an increase in our disposal costs. Additionally, recycling processing costs increased by 30% over the previous year. We also saw increased wages. Haulers are paying more for drivers and other staff. They operate in a competitive market and provide good living wage jobs. Insurance costs economy-wide have increased, which is also showing up in our system. It's become increasingly difficult for collections providers to find insurance. This insurance coverage may also be complicated by increased risk from fires in trucks and waste facilities from lithium batteries. In summary, a bit more than a third of the proposed increase was driven by inflation in wages, insurance, and other collection costs. This year, we saw some cost declines, resulting in savings incorporated into the rate, including a modest cost decline for fuel. This year, we also delayed a planned transition to consistent car colors from 2024 to 2029 in order to avoid a cost increase this year due to the hauler requiring purchasing of new roll carts. Next slide. This slide shows the recommended rates for residential garbage and recycling services for the upcoming year. The 5 different service levels shown in this table reflect about 91% of the customer base, with the remainder of the service levels in the exhibit for the ordinance. Those service levels show proposed fees in line with these shown here. By far, the most common service levels are 35 and 60-gallon service, and for these, BPS is recommending overall increases of $3 and $3.45 per month, respectively, an increase of roughly 7.5%. We also saw increased costs to deliver service in the hilly areas on the west side. In that area, the combination of larger lots, lower street connectivity, and narrow, windy roads increased the cost of providing collection service, and these additional costs are captured in a train fee that applies only in that area. This year's rate review saw increased cost in that area of an additional 35 cents a month, which would bring that hilly train charge to $5.90. Next slide. This chart shows a history of our fees over the last 12 years. Each line represents a different volume of garbage service with the 90-gallon service level at the top. Next slide. We want to emphasize that we do everything we can to keep rates low. If you put our rates in 2012 dollars, you'll see that our system is very cost effective and efficient. Residential customers in Portland today pay rates which are less than or equivalent to the rates in 2012 when adjusted for inflation. So the middle line there in gray is our most common service area that's about equal to 2012. Additionally, if you remove the disposal cost component, which has increased significantly the last few years, but is not within our hauler's control, and only show the collection costs, we'd show that our hauler's costs trend even further below inflation. Next slide. Now turning our attention to the commercial sector. As Eben mentioned, commercial waste collection in Portland is governed through an open permit system, and the city provides some oversight over how our commercial haulers serve businesses and multifamily communities through code. As part of that permit, haulers collecting commercial waste pay a fee to the city on each ton of garbage they collect within the city of Portland. Next slide. Maintaining the health of this fund is critical as the city expands public trash can collection services across the city, including in Northwest and Southwest Portland from now through 2025. As a reminder, we've expanded this service from around 700 cans in 2019, located almost exclusively downtown in Lloyd District and Hollywood District, to a program with 1,440 cans spread throughout most of the city, on the way to a projected 1,700 cans citywide once the expansion is complete later next year. Additionally, we continue to support the Impact Reduction Program with $1.1 million in annual funding, and we are working to achieve better and more equitable access to collection and waste reduction services, including for business and multifamily residents. To fund the cost of services provided through the Solid Waste Fund, BPS staff recommend council increase the commercial tonnage fee by $1 from $15.60 a ton to $16.60 per ton. This change will result in an increase approximately in revenue of $309,000 next fiscal year. Next slide. Additionally, this year, to update our residential rates and commercial tonnage fee, we're also proposing a small update to the related code. These updates will simplify the process of updating these rates and fee each year by referring to a policy document rather than directly updating the code to include the revised numbers. Until now, city code has been updated each year with the new rates. Going forward, a separate policy document would be updated annually. This is in line with procedures in other city bureaus. Next slide. For next steps, if approved today, these rates and code changes will move to a second reading later this month and would take effect on July 1st. Next slide. The collection rates and fees recommended today will allow our system to continue to deliver excellent service for residents in the community, allow the Solid Waste Fund to remain solvent and meet state requirements for reserves, and resource the growing public trash collection program. That concludes our presentation. Thank you very much, and we'll open it up to any questions you have.
Well, I have a couple. First of all, good presentation. You said that the service is excellent. How do you know that? Are you surveying customers, and what do the customers say?
Yes, we do. The city periodically has a citywide survey, and in the past, there's been a question in there along the lines of, what's your level of satisfaction with garbage service? And then more recently, last year, in our franchise agreement update process, which happens every 5 years, we released a survey in the community and saw some very positive high-level feedback around satisfaction with service, above 80, easily above 80%, if I remember correctly.
Good, thank you. I wanted to make sure that was the case. I have a question about recycling, and I just wanted to ask the experts because there's lots of information out there about how disrupted the recycling market has been since China basically stopped taking our recycled goods. When we put something in the recycling bin, how likely is it that it's actually being recycled?
It's very likely, as long as it is one of our actually accepted materials on our list.
Okay.
So we do actually a really good job in Oregon of maintaining a list that is reasonable, and that we can have confidence that the materials that are on that list are going to be marketed and used in the development of a new product. And then we also have a high degree of confidence in our system. In fact, in Oregon, it's illegal for something to end up in the garbage if it was intentionally put into a recycling container with the intent of recycling it. And so for it to end up in, let's say, a landfill or the waste stream, DEQ actually has to provide like an exception to a material recovery facility in order to send it to a landfill.
And is it audited or checked up on to make sure that our contractors are in fact recycling the materials that are going into the recycling bins?
Yes, that's a good question, and I'm a little fuzzier on the answer for that one, honestly, Mr. Mayor. But what
Could
I would,
somebody get that information to me at a later date? Just because I had a constituent
Yeah.
inquire, and I'd like to be able to give a factual answer to that question.
yeah, if I may, I would just say that we're in a time of significant change and improvement in that space in Oregon. The Recycling Modernization Act is in implementation phase right now, and it is going to, when implementation of that act is complete, we'll be able to say with confidence that we know how the materials, after they leave the recycling facility, we'll know kind of how they end up, and we'll be able to have confidence that they are not, let's say, accidentally being, like lost track of somewhere in the process.
Are the recycling contractors the same as the trash contractors, or are they different companies?
Mostly different companies. We have, there's some overlap. We have at least five material recovery facilities in our region, and most of them are actually locally, privately owned and not directly affiliated with a waste collection
So
company.
that there is no chance that, I mean, I have to ask, there's no chance that materials that are intended for recycling end up in the landfill?
Not without special permission from DEQ, and the last time that happened was around the era that you specifically mentioned, the China sword intervention that China made in their acceptance of materials. At that time, there were some limited waivers granted by DEQ to some facilities.
All right, and that gives me confidence. So it is against the law, and there are rules against it. And to the best of your knowledge, and you'll follow up with me, there is some means of verifying that that is the case.
Yes, sir.
Who maintains the trash receptacles? I'm glad that we continue to expand that program, and I appreciate that they're a little harder to monkey around with than the old version. But who is actually tasked with maintaining them, making sure if they're spray painted or something that they're cleaned? Who does that?
Yeah, that's my team at BPS. So we worked with 311. We have an online portal for folks to let us know when those things happen. And we've got a great team of community members out there to keep an eye on things and letting us know when they see issues. And then we have a number of great contractors that we can dispatch quickly to get those cleaned up.
Would you extend my gratitude? Because I never really know who to thank. But I see it, you know, I drive by a number of them, and periodically it looks like people have tried to break into them or messed them up or whatever, and then I drive by again and they're clean. So somebody's doing it. I really appreciate it, and I was never really sure who. So thanks to you, and if you could pass on my extended gratitude to the team. Last but not least, it just piqued my curiosity. You said you wanted to change the color of the bins. Why?
So we really want to move to a consistent color to just make it easy to say. You don't have to say your recycling bin. You can say your blue bin, your green bin, your gray bin.
Isn't that
so,
what we do now?
It's close, but they're not 100%. So we want to get to a point where all garbage containers are gray, all recycling is blue, and all compost
I
is
didn't
green.
realize there was.
It's more true with the single-family system than it is with the multifamily system. That's the distinction.
Okay, great, thanks. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Ryan.
Oh, sure. Thanks for those questions. I had a few, now I don't have to ask. People love the public trash program, and I have people periodically, I'm sure everyone up here does, say, I want one of those in front of my place, in front of my business. Where do I guide them, and is there a waiting list? Just tell me more.
Yeah, they can just email wasteinfo@portlandoregon.gov, and we've got a team, like I mentioned, our public trash can team, always looking for new spots to kind of move things from. So we kind of get it on both ends. Sometimes they become issues out in certain areas, and we need to remove them from there. So having another spot where maybe they could be used is always great. So luckily, we're able to grant those requests.
Okay, I'm sure my constituent person knows this, but I don't know when people ask me, but thank you. And I'm excited thank you for listening about the batteries. When can we expect to put them in our recycling?
June.
June?
Really?
June 1st?
That's good
in 2
news.
weeks?
Well, folks will hear about it in the community in mid-June when they get their curbsider. So
Okay.
that's when we expect things to actually start happening.
Well, isn't that exciting? Wow, thank you. See, government moves fast sometimes.
I know, I've
Yeah.
been making friends in Beaverton left and right. Now I don't know what I'll do.
I'm flabbergasted. Thank you. That was great news. And Commissioner Rubio, thank you for your leadership on working with Metro on this. it's tough when we get these big increases and then we go through a different government agency. I think more people come to our meetings to say things to us, so it's a partnership that has to keep improving. And I hope that it does, and I respect how you're handling that, and just want to put that out in the public record. Thanks.
Great. Any other questions before we ask about testimony? Public testimony?
We have one person signed
right.
up. Kari McCullough.
Welcome. Welcome back. It's good to see you again. Please take a seat.
Hello, thanks for having me again, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Carrie Walker McCullough. I'm the Vice President of the Portland Haulers Association, and my family has owned and operated Walker Garbage Service in Portland for 75 years.
Wow.
So I'm here today representing the PHA. Every hauler in Portland that collects residential garbage and recycling is a member of PHA. And several of us, like my company, are family companies, which we are very proud of. And as a member, it's a point of pride for our industry. And we are committed to our service for all the people in Portland and to meet rigorous standards for health and safety while providing city residents with affordable, efficient, and environmentally responsible operations. And we feel like we've demonstrated that through COVID and ice storms and smoke and fire and all of that. We have also been committed to our partnership with the city and this council. Together, we've built a progressive, nationally recognized residential franchise waste collection program that's a model for recycling. And it assures every resident in the city gets the same service for the same rate, no matter where they live. And listening to the needs of our industry and our city partners and trying to find pathways for more women and people of color to enter the waste management workforce, we have proudly partnered with you, thank you, and other agencies to develop the Driving Diversity in Portland program. Last month marked 2 years of that program with 100 Oregonians having received their CDLs. And also training to drive recycling and garbage trucks, which now is a highly skilled job for which PHA members pay family members and provide excellent benefits. So we don't toot that horn enough, so I have to just get that in there. As far as the rate increase goes, we do believe the rate review and setting process has the right balance of independent review and collaboration to assure reasonable rates for the haulers for our service and to the Portland customers for the rates they pay. So we do ask that the Portland City Council adopt the rates as presented by city staff, who always does such an excellent job of presenting the information. And we look forward to partnering with the city in the future and appreciate the opportunity to continue our business in the city of Portland. And I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for being here. Colleagues, any questions?
Thank you.
I just want to make a comment, if I may. Your family's business isn't my hauler, but you represent all of them. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say, I know there's always this debate about whether the city of Portland should go the direction that other large municipal governments have and hire a mega hauler to take care of everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad we haven't. And part of the reason I'm glad we haven't is, as you know, this last year has been extremely complicated. This last winter was very complicated for our haulers due to the weather and trees and power lines and everything else. And I have to tell you how refreshing it was when I called to get updated information. I would actually have people pick up the phone and talk to me who knew my neighborhood, who knew the issues, who knew what was going on. I didn't get bounced around on 20 different lines, poking different numbers, asking me inane questions unrelated to what it was I was calling about. So I really appreciate the fact that in Portland, we still have that level of contact, that we have family haulers, traditions like yours. Mm-hmm. Is that a third generation, it sounds like, maybe?
Actually, I am third generation, but I have family members now who are fourth generation. Terrific. Who but I appreciate your comments because it, especially in January's ice storm, it was kind of nice to be the utility of choice for a change because we could be so responsive, and all of a sudden we were just getting such great feedback from the customers of thank you. Oh my gosh, I've just been trying to figure out when should I roll it down, and no other utility can tell me that. So we kind of took a minute to embrace ourselves in the fun to be the favorite utility for a change. But we also say when your name is on the truck that's going down the street and you live in the neighborhood that you serve, and so your customers are also your neighbors, it is just it is a very different level of connection. And how many people you would think in our transitory population will still ask when they call. They remember our dad. They will bring up things. And so I do think that creates a connection for utility that a mega hauler could never touch.
Right. I couldn't agree with you more. Well, thank you. Commissioner Rubio had a comment or a
Yeah,
question
I
as
just
well.
wanted to thank you, Carrie, for coming, and it's inspiring to see a true Portland business story, multi-generational. But also, I just want to lift up the driving diversity program. I had the opportunity to be there and meet the graduates, and it's just really inspiring. This truly is helping some people move from one economic level to the next into the middle class in one generation. And so it's really a great program. I just wanted to lift that up. And then also just want to say thank you to Evan and Quentin. As usual, you just run such like a tight ship, but you're also very kind and great to customers. And the single most compliments that I get in my office is for Evan and his service in the community. So I'm sorry, Quentin, Evan, you too. But I mean,
No,
Quentin,
that's fair.
for your service in the community, and people know you by name, and they just call us of their own volition to thank the city because of you. So, and that never happens, so I just want to appreciate and lift up your good work there.
Great. Well, thank you. I already asked for public testimony. You were it, right? That's it? Terrific. Great. Thank you for being here today. This is a first reading of a non-emergency. I'm right? It's a non-emergency ordinance. Yes, this is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good presentation. Keelan, can you read items 422, 423, and 424 together, please?
422, amend code to create Portland permitting and development, and amend administration of public works permitting code to transfer certain public infrastructure permitting duties. 423, amend administration code to reflect charter reform. 424, add community police oversight system code to reflect charter reform.
Thanks, Keelan. The three ordinances before us implement some of the technical changes needed to improve customer service, cross-bureau coordination, and accountability to the Portland community. In August of 2023, as you'll recall, Council unanimously approved a resolution directing the Chief Administrative Officer, with the cooperation of city bureaus, to unify permitting functions by July 1st of this year. I'm co-introducing the first ordinance, item 422, with my colleague, Commissioner Rubio. It responds to decades of inefficiencies in customer services challenges related to permitting, and it'll allow the city to meet that deadline. The second ordinance, item 423, implements the organizational chart approved by the council back in November of 2023. It will dissolve the Office of Management and Finance and transfer the authorities of the office to the appropriate bureau or city administrator as required. The third ordinance, item 424, implements the creation of a community police oversight system as required by Measure 26-217 and as amended by the Department of Justice. The system will include both the Community Board for Police Accountability and the Office of Community-Based Police Accountability. Before we welcome our presenters for these ordinances, I'd like to hand this over to my colleague, Commissioner Rubio, to provide additional context for the ordinance we've brought related to the creation of the Portland Permitting and Development Bureau. Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. Colleagues, this action is a pivotal moment for our city. In my opinion, when voters voted to change our government, this is the type of change that they were looking for. They want a more accessible government, changes that make intersecting with the government more clear and easily understood. And whether you were a homeowner or business owner or housing developer, it's not at all what they were experiencing with permitting. These customers have been navigating a complex permitting process that spans across multiple bureaus for decades, and as many reports and audits have pointed out. The latest effort to improve the process started with Commissioner Ryan and Commissioner Mapps in April of 2021, and then with a resolution that I led in August of 2023 to consolidate the system under one authority, which was the necessary next step. And once these divided teams become one team, the process improvement work will continue. It is my belief that once people can truly work together, our customers will finally experience the difference. Come July 1st, the newly named Portland Permitting and Development will focus on the overhead model, a business process analysis to address workflow, business operations, such as moving towards a single point of contact for all customers, and of course, there is a big conversation that needs to be had about sustainable funding, as we've had today. Thank you to the staff and customers who have brought us to this point. You are the experts on how to build a better system. We look forward to the impacts of this work in the months ahead. Back to you, Mayor.
All right, Chief Administrative Officer Michael Jordan and Deputy Chief Technology Officer Elise Rosenberg are here to present the ordinances. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. For the record, I am Mike Jordan. I'm the city's Chief Administrative Officer. And as you said, with me is Elise Rosenberg. I would like to expand on Elise's reason for being here. Not only is she the person heading up the adjustment to these ordinances with many others in the room, but Elise is also heading up all the technical changes for the transition of all of the org chart that you adopted back in November. So I want to thank Elise for her work. As you said, Mr. Mayor, these three ordinances are technical in nature. They are meant to conform our future organizational structure to Titles 3 and 17. Elise is here to make the presentation, and in the room are subject matter experts on all of these bureaus, and I think every single city attorney is in the room too. But maybe I exaggerate just a bit, but there's a few of them here if you have any questions about any parts of this. And with that, I'll turn it over to Elise.
Thank you, Mike. Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Thank you so much for having me and for your time. I know it's been a long day. And while I am a fiddler, I did not bring that with me this afternoon, so I'm sorry.
Now we know for next time.
Well, there we go. As Mike said, I'm Elise Rosenberg. Not only am I your Deputy Chief Technology Officer, which is a role I enjoy very much, I'm also sponsoring the technical implementation of organizational change for this coming fiscal year. And the work to technically implement all of this change that the voters and that you've directed is varied, it's very complicated, and it involves aligning city code, which is what we're talking about today, with the budget, with the organizational chart, with systems that control payroll, that control accounting, about 100 systems across the city that are all in alignment that we're trying to line up here for July 1st. As Mike also noted, there's a great deal of collaboration that's involved in this that's indicated by some of our friends in the room, but I get the honor of working with over 100 subject matter experts. We have contacts in every single bureau. We have contacts with the city attorney, with the city budget office, with revenue and finance, with HR, with technology, and that's been a lot of fun to work through together. All of this, if we're successful, you will barely notice. And so other than moments like this, when we come before you with some of the technical components of the decision that require your votes, I just want to say there's an incredible amount of work by our colleagues so that it's boring. So I appreciate the chance to say that and thank everybody. Next slide, please. Thanks. So if we could just reorient ourselves for a moment, this is the organizational chart that you passed on November 1st, and the items in front of you today provide the code authority to implement several of the components of what you're looking at. And specifically, if you look under Community and Economic Development, there's that line that says Permitting and Development Services. That's 422. 423, Mayor, as you said, dissolves the Office of Management and Finance, and several of the components you see listed under Budget and Finance and under City Operations, as well as under the City Administrator, today exist under that OMF umbrella. And then thirdly, what you see on this org chart as the community-based police accountability oversight system. In this ordinance, it's actually going to be located proximate to human resources, so it'll be listed in city operations, but that ordinance creates the code authority to implement that. More code changes will be coming. We'll talk about that. Here is a much simpler view of the three items in front of you. 422, 23, and 24, and then I'll talk a little bit more about each in the coming slides. Next slide, please. Just want to, of course, acknowledge that we're in this time of change, and while we're complying with your direction to budget into these new service areas and structures, we're also very much acknowledging that you are still in charge until midnight on December 31st, and these code changes reflect that. So specifically, items 422 and 23 acknowledge that we're in this time of change where you still have the authority, but we are reshaping the organization to lean into changes. And as of January 1st, we have an item associated in 423 that will reshape the role of the city administrator effective January 1st to align with the charter changes. But until then, all of these ordinances comply with the current authority chain. So again, item 422, in compliance with your direction as of August 30th, 2023, combines the permitting staff. It creates the code authority that implements Portland Permitting and Development. And then it makes some changes to Title 17, which is the Public Works Permitting section of code. So just conforming the authorities in that item to match the new organizational structure. Item 423 separates the Office of Management and Finance. So today, that is, if you will, a mothership to a few baby ship bureaus. So for example, we have a Bureau of Technology Services, but the authority for that bureau today resides under the Chief Administrative Officer. So it's sort of a parent-child relationship. And thank you for that.
You're eliminating the parent, from what I understand.
Well, we're leaving the nest. How about that?
All right.
Let's not be political.
So it reestablishes those bureaus as separate entities reporting to the city administrator, and then it also establishes the Bureau of Fleet and Facilities. Those functions today report to the Chief Administrative Officer, but they combined have approximately $200 million in budget and about 150 staff. So we're going ahead and creating a bureau out of that under a director. And then finally, again, the 424 creates the community police oversight system in code and complying both with your direction on November 1st as well as the Department of Justice settlement requirements. And it places that in the organization proximate to human resources. So in this case, that will be in the city operations service area. Next steps. So again, today you've got 3 code items before you. Those are not all of the code items, but they are the ones that are timely for the budget that will be adopted in the near future so that we have the code authority to align with the financial and HR structures on July 1st. We anticipate at least one set of additional conforming items to Title III coming forward in August or July or August. And just noting again, a great partnership with the City Budget Office. These changes are also reflected in the budget that we're preparing for your adoption, as well as some work to conform in the fall bump coming up. And then I just, again, want to note that sort of mad doggy paddling underneath the surface that we hope remains invisible to you, but note that throughout the summer and the fall, there will be a lot of conforming actions to back-end city systems to update names and relationships, and just restructure the city for those 100 other systems that connect to our payroll and HR systems. So the work of those 100 folks does not stop on July 1st. And with that, again, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for the opportunity to participate in this work. And
Mr. Mayor, if I might, Heidi Brown from the City Attorney's Office would like to come up and make one clarification before we move on, if it's all right.
Sure.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Just really fast so that community members who are watching are aware that item number 424 that establishes the community police oversight system is very simple. It doesn't actually, the board will not be created, nor will there be an office until the Department of Justice and the court approves our code language. And so I just want to be really clear about that, that all it does is creates the oversight system, establishes the board and the office, and that's it. And then the structure and processes will be subsequently established once we have authority from the court. Just so there's no confusion from people watching it, I just want to be sure about that. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Heidi.
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Anybody have questions before I ask about public testimony? Do you have public testimony?
We do. We have 6 people signed up
All right,
for the
let's hear
various items.
Good.
We have 3 people signed up initially for 422. First up is John Isaacs. John was going to join online.
Let's see. I don't see him.
I don't see them. We can move on. Rachel Whiteside.
Here's Rachel. Good afternoon, Rachel. By the way, everybody, if anybody's hungry, that food sitting back there was from an event we had just a while ago, not too long ago. Help yourself, otherwise somebody has to take it all. Hey, Rachel.
good afternoon. As mentioned, my name is Rachel Whiteside, and I am here speaking on behalf of the city employees represented by Protect 17, who will be impacted by one of the proposals, at least, here before you today. That includes 42 positions in what are identified as public infrastructure and public works, as well as another 87 members at the Bureau of Development Services. This number is currently a little low due to layoffs that occurred in January of this year. I testified before this council almost a year ago in opposition of the consolidation of public works functions into a development-centered bureau, and I am here to do so again today because nearly every concern that we raised 12 months ago has yet to be addressed. Protect 17 members, we continue to acknowledge public frustration with permitting timelines, but this is directly attributable to chronic understaffing and not a coordination or authority issue. Since May of last year, BDS has laid off staff, and the disruption of being moved to a new bureau has led to public works members seeking other opportunities or simply retiring. These employees represent critical institutional knowledge, and as a city, we are moving in the wrong direction if we hope to get work out the door faster. Protect 17 members have met with multiple commissioners' offices over the last 12 months, attempting to explain that with the codes as written and the current staffing levels, this is simply how long it takes for permits to be reviewed and issued. The ordinance before you today do not resolve outdated or conflicting code requirements. There is serious work that must be undertaken to modernize public works codes before we could see any improvement, either if you're a community member or a developer. Protect 17 members acknowledge that we are still in the midst of a housing crisis, but this consolidation is not the magic wand we'd like it all to be. Until the business processes are thoroughly analyzed, and those in order to identify bottlenecks, until that work is completed, moving positions and changing charter authority will not do anything to actually improve permit review timelines or to get Portland out of this housing crisis. Ooh, I better talk faster. As part of the budget adoption last week, council took much needed step of extending the funding for the permitting improvement team for another 12 months.
I urge you to pause and let them do the work needed for this to be a thoughtful and successful transition. Nowhere does Public Works exist within a community development bureau or department, so there's no ready model for them to point to and say, this is what works in Seattle or Salt Lake or Sacramento. I have a little bit more. Can I keep going?
So I got chewed out earlier today because I let one person go and I didn't let anybody else go, so I'm going to have to say no.
Oh. Can I ask Rachel a question?
You may.
Rachel, can you very briefly complete your thought for us?
I guess the one other thought I really wanted to say around budget is that council has failed to provide any funding for this transition. And so, you know, this costs real money. Every letterhead, every form, every handout, the website, the cars that do inspections. So there's a lot of concern because we haven't done anything to address the long-term funding situation that exists, and we're adding more people to that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that clarification. Mr. Merrill, no more questions.
Appreciate it.
John Isaacs has arrived.
Mr. Isaacs, welcome. We see you.
Hi there, and I apologize for being a little late. I had some technology issues getting connected. Mayor Wheeler, members of the council, John Isaacs. I'm the Vice President of Public Affairs for the Portland Metro Chamber, resident of Southeast Portland, and I prefer he, him pronouns. On behalf of the Chamber and our over 2,300 members, I'm here to testify in support of Agenda Item 422, the finalization of the permitting consolidation, and really just to say thank you to this council. I've said many times that this council has been willing to take on many of these historic or long-term problems that we've faced in the city, and the permitting system, as you all know, has been a point of discussion. It's been well known amongst leadership, business community, civic leadership, that this was a problem with the city. And for whatever reason, your predecessors chose to pass it along or not take the necessary actions to actually consolidate and fix the system. And I just want to say thanks to this council. In particular, I want to thank Commissioner Ryan for starting the process when he was the commissioner for BDS. And then I want to really say thank you to Commissioner Rubio, who showed just tremendous leadership here in getting this done. It's required some thick skin. It's required having to say no sometimes to interests within the city that are not interested in change that will make things better for the community. And with this finally creating this consolidated office, it is going to be a major step in helping our city recover and then move forward stronger than it has been in the past. So just really thank you, Commissioner Rubio. In addition to the permitting consolidation, Commissioner Rubio has she's brought together really, really healthy discussions around how we create a sustainable funding model for BDS. So just to address one of the points that was previously made, we've been in those discussions and they're going to pay off for the long run, because I think we're all on the same page that we need BDS to be funded at a sustainable level and a system that keeps it sustained so it doesn't go through these boom and bust cycles with our economy. So it staffs down when we go into some hard times, and then when we need it to staff up, it doesn't have the staff for when we are building things. So just thank you to everyone here. Thank you for your leadership, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Next up, we have Robin Castro online.
Welcome, Robin.
Thank you. All right, so hello, Council. My name is Robin Castro, and I'm here on behalf of the Portland Utility Board, a community advisory body for the Portland Water Bureau and the Bureau of Environmental Services, in which I chair. I come before you to request a slowdown on the implementation of the single permitting authority known as Portland Permitting and Development. I know that in August of last year, Council unanimously voted in support of consolidating our permitting structure in a move to reduce wait times for developers, as well as streamline processes. And PUB supports making processes quicker and easier, but we do have a few concerns about the timeline and funding for the changes that you are currently making. We want to echo concerns from the union representing the impacted workers, as well as concerns that we understand have been raised within the infrastructure bureaus collectively, that this vote as a movement of authority will separate permit reviewers from the people who actually sign off on decisions and moves workers into a new bureau that is still being structured and funded. This new permitting authority will also cost utility ratepayers more than what was originally requested in the recent fiscal year 24-25 budget, and will increase BES's subsidization rate of service development charges from 50 to 61% per bureau estimates. And so essentially our utility bills will increase higher than expected, and everyday Portlanders will be funding development charges for the benefit of private for-profit developers without providing increased services to rate-paying households. I want to remind you all that Hub supported this year's proposed rate increases because they address deferred maintenance, as well as to help provide reliable, affordable, and equitable services to the community. But with these new costs only being brought forward as of last week, we at the Portland Utility Board have not had adequate time to truly consider the issue fully, nor can we completely understand the impacts to ratepayers yet. And so we urge a slowdown and to exercise caution when allocating additional ratepayer funding for this purpose, and to listen to the workers most impacted by this transition. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Wayne Close.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Everyone's having a wonderful evening.
Not bad. Thanks
So
for
far,
asking.
So good. For the record, my name is Wayne Close. I work for the city of Portland. I actually oversee the building permit program for the Bureau of Transportation. I've been doing that for about 15 years. I worked for the city of Portland for coming on to 18 years total now. All that's been with transportation. I want to echo the last speaker's request. I strongly recommend or ask that some consideration goes towards slowing this down a little bit. I'm not necessarily advocating something different needs to happen. My bigger concern, and I think I can speak for several of the staff members that I work with and in the interagency bureaus, as well as some in the development services, is this is a very complicated group trying to bring together all of the infrastructure bureaus under one roof with development services. There's a reality check that I believe needs to be done in who does what within that group for the permits. I like the sound of it being under a single roof as far as a single authority. A lot of that certainly makes sense, has for quite a while. But also a lot of these IAs have come together and have been doing quite well, especially since COVID, where we have made some very dramatic changes, very dramatic improvements, and we have expedited the permit process quite well. If it gets recognized, probably not nearly as much as it should. What usually seems to be recognized is somebody's having a problem, so they run up the ladder. And the next thing I know, I'm getting emails and phone calls on that one out of several hundred permits. And when I say several hundred, I'm actually talking about thousands of permits on an annual basis that if you, as a group, added up all the complaints you get annually, it's going to be a very, very small percentage of what didn't go just right compared to what did go right. Now, we do have different, would like to also point out we are working as a group within our departments, within our interagency departments, with the other people that are in our bureaus, our respective bureaus, our specialty areas. Transportation isn't just the people that are going to be moving over with a single permit authority. That's going to be the main group. That's going to be my department on the front line. But we need to engage several other departments that are not moving over to make sure we're getting our reviews done correctly. One last point, this has been very difficult on staff, on managers, trying to see or visualize how this is going to come together in the time frame that it's being required. Stupid fast is a term I've heard, but it is a little bit ridiculously fast for as much complexity as there is to it. And I think there's more likelihood that it's going to get things wrong than it will get it right if you try to push a timeline like the one that's out on the table currently. A lot of people are leaving. A lot of managers are leaving. I'm leaving within about a month. It's a bit of an ask to come into this and then end up probably being the one that catches blame on the backside if it doesn't go as smoothly as everybody would like to pretend it will go. I say pretend, I apologize for that, but there is some imagination there that you're going to get this running smoothly and correctly, ready for use and roll out if we don't take a little bit of time and make sure it's being done right. I'm going to go on a little bit here until you tell me to shut up and go away.
You're a minute and 18 seconds over, and so I'll have to ask you to wrap it up just out of fairness to everybody.
Fair enough. Appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
There are some key management people that are leaving. This is a large part of the reason why they're leaving. It's a large part of why I'm choosing to retire at this time also. It's not going to make it any easier. It's not out of spite. It's just out of not feeling that this is going to materialize in a way that makes good business sense. And we would like to see that slowed down. It might help to provide some rethought on that and to help move it along with the experience that the city does have.
Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
The next two testifiers are testifying on item 424. First up, we have Dan Handelman, Portland Cop Watch.
Welcome, Dan.
Good afternoon, Mayor Wheeler and members of City Council. I'm Dan Handelman. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a member of Portland Cop Watch. I'm also a former member and co-chair of the Police Accountability Commission, which was assigned by City Council in 2021 to flesh out the bare bones structure for the new oversight system voted into the city charter. We spent 20 months researching, interviewing, and debating every word of a 96-page draft document we recommended the City Council adopt as code for the new system. I'm testifying today about the 3 sentences being proposed today, which will create a placeholder for that system. Before I get to the substance of the code, I want to acknowledge that the ordinance before you says the new system will be housed in the same service area as the Bureau of Human Resources. Indeed, the introduction said that too, instead of the Public Safety Service area as originally proposed. The text acknowledges that this came as a suggestion from the PAC. That's much appreciated. This will greatly increase both the perceived and real independence of the new system. The short code before you acknowledges that there are 2 entities that need to be established, a community-run board and the staff that will actually conduct intake and perform investigations into police misconduct. The city has retained the name for the 2 entities as proposed by the PAC. However, the PAC's code referred to the 2 bodies collectively as the oversight system. This new code refers to it as the Community Police Oversight System, or CPOS. This acronym might easily be confused with a widely used acronym for point of sale, one of the things many people think POS is short for. Thus, we would suggest changing it to Community-Based Police Accountability System, as was listed on the organizational chart that you just saw a minute ago, to avoid snarky remarks being made. It's still disappointing that after the PAC turned in its work, the city did not look to the 19 remaining commission members as subject matter experts when writing up its proposed code, which removed many key elements. While the city attorney held a special meeting in early December with former PAC members, it was poorly facilitated and about half of PAC's questions and concerns were not addressed. Last week, we found out that the city turned over a revised code proposal to the U.S. Department of Justice on May 6th. This indicates that the negotiations with the Portland Police Association have ended. It would be great if the city could share that draft with the community, or specifically the former members of the PAC, for review. When the full code comes back to council, we at Portland Cop Watch are asking again for assurances that public input will be taken seriously. It's much appreciated that the service area was changed based on community feedback. There may be even more good ideas to fix the draft. We've been told in the past it's too late to change anything because we've negotiated every word of this. It's not acceptable to dismiss input because of the secret negotiations with the Portland Police Association. The city should make appropriate changes based on public comments and head back to finalize those changes with the entities that are reviewing them. Even though the outcome of complaints impacts the police's employees, the misconduct that leads to those complaints mostly impacts the community. It would be great to get a pledge today that there will be opportunity for meaningful public input when the draft comes back from the DOJ and before council adopts it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Debbie Iona.
Welcome, Debbie.
Hi, thank you. I'm Debbie Iona, and I'm speaking today as a former member of the Police Accountability Commission. Thank you for taking this step towards implementation of Portland's new police accountability system. In the absence of regular progress updates, those of us who devoted so much time and attention to the effort have been left to wonder where things stand. I'd like to encourage the city attorney and mayor's office to share regular updates with the public going forward. The many voters who supported Measure 26-17 would likely also appreciate knowing. An important rationale behind Measure 26-217 was the establishment of an oversight and accountability system that addresses the significant erosion in public trust in police. It was disheartening, therefore, that the Office of Community-Based Police Accountability and its community board were located within the Public Safety Service area in the November 1 reorganization chart. I truly appreciated that you took the concerns you heard from the public and the PAC into consideration. It's good to see that today's ordinance more appropriately places the new accountability system in city operations. Not only does this provide an appropriate distance from the police bureau, it also aligns the accountability program within the service area that includes the Bureau of Human Resources. As the city moves forward towards full implementation, I'd like to encourage you to continue the dialogue among PAC members, council staff, and the city attorney's office that ended abruptly in December. We had a constructive discussion at the December meeting where we discussed areas of disagreement between the city and PAC, but ran out of time before going through our list. The public deserves to be involved in the work to finalize the city code. The process would also benefit from advice from the newly appointed independent monitor. MPS and Associates has deep experience with police accountability systems and may prove to be helpful as we continue to sort out the details. We should keep in mind the system voters envisioned when they overwhelmingly supported Measure 26-217 and take the time necessary to work together to make it happen. Thank you very much for considering my comment.
Thanks, Debbie.
That completes testimony.
All right, very good. Colleagues, any further questions? Been a long day, huh? One. Okay, good. Commissioner Ryan.
So, great report. I appreciate hearing all the concerns. I want to acknowledge Terry Tyson and her team back there, the cat herders, for this work. If it's not for you being in the budget, your positions in the 21-22 budget, we would not be here today. Simply put, policy doesn't move unless we operationalize it with professional staffing. So I just wanted to lift that. I also don't have a lot of faith in this moving very well unless we have some in-person team building. And so I just have a question about that. Will that be part of this journey? Some facilitated groups, both on the ground and mid-managers and such in person, as soon as possible to get SPA so it actually can be practiced. I know there's a lot of fear of change, but it would be helpful if we knew that change was being implemented with that kind of fidelity. And Terry Tyson's
I've asked Terry to come up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner, for the question. And so I'll let Terry start. I may have a comment to go on with it, but go ahead.
Thank you. Terry Tyson, Strategy Manager for the Permit Improvement Team. Thank you, Commissioner Ryan, for asking that question. We did have the first leadership kickoff meeting for all the supervisors and managers who are impacted by this very huge and complex change, as has been pointed out. And we've been holding several BPAs, those are business process analyses, with teams across the city, that's staff. And that has been team building as well. However, you make a very good point, and I think that I know that part of our change management plan going into this will be bringing people together intentionally in person. There's a real hunger for it, frankly. Staff have been asking for it. They want to know what one another does. They want to learn more about how it's all interconnected. So we're excited about that moving forward.
Appreciate it. I'll tell a very brief story. It was after, remember the riveting, it was really interesting pictures, was the root system maps, I think it was your team, with the pipes, sewer pipes. And anyway, upstairs, because we have little places upstairs to go in between meetings now on Wednesdays, I heard two permitting people, one that must have been in one of your bureaus and one that was urban forestry, talking about something very similar to that. And just listening to them in person talk in the lunchroom, it made, I'm geeking out here, but it made me really happy, because when we first started bringing all of the permitting people together, it was just, I know, Mike, you were there, was just fascinating how many people, even at the higher level, hadn't met each other. So they were meeting each other over Zoom in 2021, even though some of them had worked at the city for a long time. So I just paused to say, how are people that we're working with in doing affordable housing, residents who don't have the skill set to understand the complexity of permitting, who do need some handholding now and then even the larger companies who have to hire someone to help navigate this, how would they experience our service if they don't even, they're told to go meet these people that within our own city haven't met each other, work together. Did that make sense? All right. So that's what I'm saying, is we have to figure out how to bring this along so that it becomes more relational. And then I actually have faith that it'll be, people will enjoy being a part of that new team.
Great, thank you, Commissioner. All right, item number 422.
Mayor, I had one question on
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yeah, well, I guess building on Commissioner Ryan's question from a slightly different angle, we've heard some testimony from labor. I've certainly had some outreach over the last week on permit unification in general. Do we have data on whether the workforce supports this? Are they opposed to it? Are there differences of opinion? I mean, and how do we quantify that? And yeah, so I guess that's the question. I'm getting anecdotal feedback. But I'm just trying to gauge what to make of that. And certainly we've heard some testimony today.
Well, let me start. Terry may have access to actual empirical data on your questions, but I can tell you now, meeting with staff multiple times over the last 10 months almost now, since August, about this consolidation, that there are mixed emotions about it. There's no question. There are people who are very apprehensive about this move. And a lot of folks have spent, in some cases, as you heard from Mr. Close, their entire career in a certain bureau. And we're asking them to move to a different bureau that, quite frankly, they don't know. They know that it probably won't be like their entire career with the bureau they've been in, and there's some uncertainty about where they're going. So it's completely fair that people would be apprehensive. I also want to say that in the groups that Terry and her staff have convened, and you heard about the most recent one with the managers, when they've been together talking about this, I would say the balance in the room is enthusiasm, and people are leaning into the challenges that we've heard about. And I think there's a mix of emotions, but anecdotally for me, when I've been in the room listening to people talk about these things, and Terry can talk from her perspective, I think people are enthusiastic in some ways about this change and the opportunities that exist. So it cuts both ways, Commissioner, there's no question.
Commissioner, if I may, let me jump. I'd like to jump in and try to at least provide my perspective on this, and it's pretty close to what Mike said too. First, I'm, you know, I'm your infrastructure guy. These are my folks who are moving over. I think we maybe have 45-ish moving over. Something in that realm. And in general, I think people are open-minded and see the intuitive value to consolidation, bringing folks together. Although there's certainly, a group of folks out there who probably think, maintaining our direct connection to our home bureaus is something which is important to them. But in general, I don't think a deal breaker is consolidation and consolidation period. Where I see some challenges, and this is frankly conversations that I've been trying to have with other council offices over the past couple of weeks. I do hear concerns, and I think we've heard them today, about implementation. Like people don't know how, if we're all of a sudden we're going to have, we're moving everyone into the same room, but we have yet to define how they interact. So if we have a chief engineer in water and a chief engineer in transportation who kind of disagree on something, we have yet to define how that's going to work out. We have yet to define really what the management team in this space is going to look like. At least initially, your checks are going to come from BDS, I believe, as opposed to water or whatnot. And frankly, if you got a mortgage and kids, and you look at BDS, which has had a lot of layoffs, that gives you some concerns. It's understandable why there should be some concerns here. I think the red flag that I've quietly tried to raise with members of council and for folks who are invested in this period, in this space, is if we don't think very carefully about implementation, frankly, we're going to lose a lot of staff, and we already are. I think I'm moving over 45 people, something like that. I think since we've started this conversation, I think 12 have quit, and I believe half of my staff in the space who are unionized have placed themselves on transfer lists. I don't think all of that is. I don't think all of that is just being obstructionist. I think that's frankly, when I take a look at especially the staff turnover that I have right now, I think I interpret it as being a lack of faith in our planning and implementation processes. At this point, I think we can turn it around. I hope we can turn it around. Frankly, for the folks who are leading this process, and at this point, it's not me. I think one of the things that you can do in this space is clearly articulate what our plan to figure out these important questions are. At least then staff can kind of take a look at where we're trying to go and make their own choices about whether or not they want to kind of stay with the city or move into different spaces. Right now, what I see, one of the things I'm concerned about is I see my people choosing to move someplace else. I'd like to make our best pitch as to why you want to be with the city, unless you don't want to be in the city. I mean, I'm sure there are folks out there who would rather go in the private sector. These are highly skilled folks who can make plenty of money doing other things in the same space. But I think if we want to keep our people and frankly get better before we get worse, and frankly I think we're kind of on a track to get worse in the space before we get better, I think we need to articulate very clearly to our staff and the development community what our plan for developing a plan is. And
in response to your question, I know that Terry has directly some information about some of the issues you raised. Could you respond to some of those things?
Yes, I sure can.
Like specifically the decision-making aspect, and also the SAP issues,
right?
And some of these things that are already happening.
Yeah, the SAP issue is a concern that I think is valid. It is concerning to see BDS on your timesheet when you're coming from a bureau that hasn't had similar challenges. That is a technical issue, however, that will be resolved by September. I mean, that's just the reality, and I wish, and I'm sure Elise wishes the same thing, that we could move faster, but these are just technical pieces. But I understand that there are real feelings attached to those, so I don't want to be dismissive of it at all. In terms of a implementation work plan, I completely appreciate the concerns around that. We do have work plans, and many of them are in motion, and perhaps communicating that more specifically is something we can do better. But we have a group that has been working on clarifying authority. They've made great progress. We've slowed down that process actually because of their feedback and input that we were moving too fast. And that will continue past July 1 so that we can get it right. And some of the other concerns you've expressed in terms of implementation and work plan, those things are in motion as well, but they're not complete. And I think that is true. There are still a lot of unknowns, and that is an uncomfortable place to be. And I don't want to dismiss that. It's legitimate to be uncomfortable with those things, and that we don't have those answers specific. And this is a very detail-oriented group. That is their job, and that is what they've dedicated their professional lives to. Thank goodness. And so they crave those details, and it's part of their nature to want them. And we want to provide them as a project team as quickly as we can, but we also want to get it right. And we're not going to get it exactly right by July. We have a lot of continued work after July.
If I might,
sure,
just add on a touch. Again, we've mentioned it multiple times that change like this creates apprehension. There's no question. And literally, we can't answer every question right now. And I've been telling people for months that July 1st is not the end of the change, it's the beginning of the change. And we have lots of business processes to go through that we have not done. But I want to emphasize something. On July 2nd, people who work in your bureaus will still be able to pick up the phone or get on a Teams call with the same people they were talking to on June 30. And there's nothing to prevent that. In fact, it's encouraged. They must continue to communicate. So there is nothing about this change that inhibits the interaction of people who've been interacting with each other for years and years and years. So I expect us to be just as effective as we've been overall. There are economic and organizational factors and financial factors, fiscal factors within the city that we have to work out. There are long-term structural problems with the funding of this business process. And so we have a budget note to that effect now, which is great. Thank you for that. But we've known for a long time that the mercurial nature of the market gets us in a situation that we have to figure out how to resolve. And that has to be beyond just the permitting business process. That's a city problem that we have to figure out how to deal with. And we know that. And I realize that I used to run BES. And the folks who work in BES in this business process, they love BES. And I get it. And also feel very secure at BES. The funding model for utility is very different than the one we have for development services. And so we need to reconcile that. And I realize that it causes apprehension from folks, but we have your direction to come back with a plan to resolve that problem. So we'll work on it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mike.
Great. I'm not sure where we are. Commissioner Gonzalez, did you finish all of your questions?
I think for the most part, I mean, I'm just trying to weigh the info you shared on attrition relative to other changes going on in the city and how to quantify it. I think sometimes it's easy in our shoes to say, well, change is always hard and borderline be dismissive of the concerns. And so it's trying to unpack what is just fear of fear and what is concern about the ability to execute on a job. I hadn't even thought in any deep way about being an employee of BDS versus a rate, payer bureau and the differences in job security as perceived by professionals. That's an interesting dimension that I can see that being very real to public servants. I don't know necessarily what to do about it, but I hear what you're saying on the budget now. So.
Commissioner Gonzalez, if I could jump in here, I appreciate your empathetic response. My reading of where we're at is a majority on this council has decided that we're going forward with unification. So, that is our North Star. That's where we're going to go. There's going to be a transition period, and we will have some good days and we will have some bad days. I think the hypothesis I want to put on the table is that And maybe the challenge to put on the table is that as we go through this transition and we start to lose staff, and we're going to lose staff, we are, it's just accelerating. I think that is a problem that we might need to manage. I think we're kind of lucky right now, frankly, in that, the planning and sustainability tells me we're going to be in a relatively low phase of building for the next 24 months. And so even if we have some transition in this space, we might be okay compared to if things were booming. However, in the end, you need bodies to do this work. And we also know it takes about a year to kind of train someone up to do this work. So our staffing flow is something I think we got to take seriously. We've decided we're going to march forward. I encourage our city managers and deputy city managers who come into the space amongst the many metrics they follow, which will include how long it takes us to get permits out. Let's also take a look at how many bodies we lose between now and then, because at some point you can lose so many bodies that you're not going to be able to get permits out the door.
Yeah, I'll leave with one last point that's helpful, Commissioner Mapps. I think from my vantage point, I've always been clear that having unified accountability on permit push through is a net positive for the city. July 1 was never a hard date for me. So that's, want to be very blunt, but from day one, central reporting, central accountability for our ability to get permits through the system is essential for a city. We're all collectively accountable for that. But the date, this didn't have to be done with charter reform. I mean, so I'll leave it at that.
All right, good. And Commissioner Ryan, did you get all your questions
I think
answered?
it's okay to just level set how this all started. It was well before charter reform.
Yeah.
I got an audit when I was the head of BDS, overseeing BDS, that in 2021, beginning of 2021, that talked about the handoffs, the bad handoffs from one bureau to another. So especially residents who don't have the expertise try to work with the city to do a bathroom remodel, and they work with one bureau that takes a while and then they say it's good, but there's no handoff to the next one. So it's on the customer, who's not an engineer, just trying to do a weekend project, that gets stuck in what we currently have, and it slows everything down. And then we got data sets when Maps and I were working together on this, Commissioner Maps and I were working on this, that showed real-time empirical data on what was up with all of this. So we didn't have to wait 10 more years to have another audit tell us we're not doing very well with this. So this is change. We're building it, and it's going to be rough. But again, hearing two people in the lunchroom say that they had the same customers, they were huddling to talk to one another so they could both collectively get back to that customer so that they could give them the information that would move the project forward. So I do think it'll get there, and I'm empathetic that change is hard and it'll take some time, but I don't see why slowing it down would benefit the evolution of this change. So I think we have to just go for it. I'm really glad we have professionals that are facilitating the discussions. I'm really hope that we continue to engage those that are like the ones I think that I overheard, that are on the ground dealing with these matters on a daily basis. And I'm really happy to know that they're slowly, gradually integrating their knowledge, because that will save time for the resident of Portland who just simply wants to get their bathroom remodeled.
That is, we retain enough staff.
Commissioner Rubio, did you get everything done you needed to get done, question-wise?
Yeah, I just have a couple points I just want to make too. Just something to note that Donnie Oliveira in his new role as DCA, he takes that role soon, and his two top priorities are to support PP&D staff going through this change, and I think that's an important thing to lift up. And also to working to address the revenue question and the revenue evolution and what it will be. And I think first getting the staff into PP&D as we build out the new system ensures that they're part of the development of those processes and ensures that they're part of the org structure development and the furthering the work plans. Communication is also a key priority, and I know Terry has lifted that up over and over again. And I just want to be clear that uneven communication is one of one of the challenges of not having a uniformity of the ability to get out that communication in a systemic, timely way to everyone so that no one is left out. And this change actually helps create that ability to get that out. Just delaying the change, I believe, slows down the work of process improvement. So I just want to say I know this is a challenge, and there's every intent here, I know, by the team to make sure that that employee voices are included and central.
Great. Anything else for the record? If not, good. Item 422 is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. Item 423 is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. Item 424 is an emergency ordinance. Please call the roll.
Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mops.
Aye.
Rubio.
Aye.
Wheeler.
All right, the ordinance is adopted. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.